Hi, I'm Dusty with Flame Innovation. Today we're going to talk about the common questions that we get from our customers, why they need to use a Class A chimney pipe for the installations. We sell the Mini-Me gravity-fed non-electric pellet stove, which you'll see that in our videos. That requires a 4-inch installation. It burns like a wood stove. So the whole point with the Class A insulated is that it keeps the heat inside the pipe so that it will draft. Our caboose stove also uses a 4-inch pipe. It's a small stove for heating small spaces that you can mount on the floor or mount on the wall. And you can come off of both these stoves with a single wall pipe like this one. This is stainless steel. It's painted, and it has a seamless weld. And so it's a safe pipe as long as you maintain 12-inch clearance for combustibles. And what that means, you can't have anything around this, or if you mounted your stove, you don't want to be within 12 inches of a wall, or where you go up and you've got to be 16 to 18 inches away from the ceiling. So by using the Class A pipe over, say, a 4-inch pellet pipe, which a powered pellet stove would use, you want to use a double wall insulated 4-inch Class A for these stoves, just because they simply burn like a wood stove, especially with the Mini-Me pellet. It relies on draft in order for it to pull air in the bottom and blow air on the pellets. It has to be pulling air out of your stack. So we'll kind of go through a little bit of a step-by-step of how to install. A lot of people will start off with a piece of 4-inch single wall, and that's a lot like this one here, where it just fits into the stove collar. You already have 3 holes drilled in here. You want to pre-drill into the pipe so that you don't bend it, even if you're using a self-drilling screw. This is high quality stainless steel, and it's fairly thick, so a lot of times you end up burning the tip off your self-driller, or you'll weld it and melt it right to the pipe, and then you're pretty well starting over. So if you don't want to do that, you can use what's called the pipe adapter and slide that into the stove collar, do the same thing. And then this has little nubs on it all the way around that fit into the female side. This has got arrows on it so that you know you can't put it in backwards. And this has opposite notches. So when you put this pipe together, you'll put it down with the notches opposite of each other. And then as you twist and lock, these are on a little bit of a ramp. So it actually pulls the pipe together. Now with this, you're talking about this 18-inch piece of pipe probably weighs 12, 13 pounds, where this 2-foot piece of single wall probably weighs, 2 pounds, because it doesn't have insulation. There's quite a cost difference between the two, and you'll see all those prices on our website, but it's very safe to use this as opposed to using like a 4-inch pellet pipe. Even though you're installing our Mini-Me non-electric pellet, it will not burn with pellet pipe because it's simply just a double wall pipe with no insulation, and it's not meant for the outside. So as you're going up and going through the roof, anything that's outside is subject to the elements. What happens is your pipe will just cool down, and it won't draft like it's supposed to. So when you first start the stove, you're going to get great burning, great potential, looks like a great fire, and it's just going to slowly get slower and slower and slower, unless it's, say 50 degrees outside or something like that. The other reason you don't want to use pellet pipe on the Mini-Me pellet is because it does burn at a higher temperature than a computer-controlled electric pellet stove that feeds in with an auger motor, and it feeds in certain pounds of pellets, or size of the pellets into your fire pot, so it regulates the burn. Ours is gravity fed non-electric, so we do it all manually, and essentially you become the computer for the stove by using the damper, and that's all you ever have to worry about. So draft is very important, and maintaining a draft is ultimate, it's very important. So anyway, we'll come back to getting off the stove here. If you come off the stove with that, this pellet adapter or pipe adapter would go inside your single wall pipe or inside your stove collar. Then this sits on here, twists and locks, and then you can go up through your ceiling If you're putting it in a greenhouse or a shed or a tiny home, you don't have any attic or anything like that, you can use these metal ceiling plates, and then you'll have some different things that you'll do to the inside once you've cut your hole in the ceiling. Now you're going to cut a 10-inch hole. That gives you 2 inches clearance for combustibles around this pipe. So you cannot go through a ceiling with single wall pipe. It's an absolute forbidden no-no. It's very, very unsafe. We also have ones that are elongated for going through up to a 12-12 pitch, which is 45 degrees. That way it sits on your pipe like this, and then it fills in around your pipe. Where a normal ceiling, this one will move just a little bit for a little bit of, shallow or less steep inclines on your ceiling. Once you get through the roof, you've got a couple of options. You can use the high temp silicone rubber roof boot. This is normally used for metal roofs. And what you'll do when you get up through there and you've cut your 10-inch hole top, side, and under, you put one of these roof support kits. It goes down on the roof. These adjust for your pitch, and you tighten these down. Then you clamp your pipe on here, and then this all gets hidden by your roof boot, so you won't ever see it. This has ribbed edges on the side for 100% silicone sealant. You'll finish off by going along the edge like you'd caulk a tub or a sink. That way the water doesn't sit here on the edge. This does bend to go up and over your ribs on your metal roof. And then, of course, you would have your storm collar, your chimney pipe, and your rain cap. Now, if you have a composition roof, well, let's get back to the ceiling really quick. If you're not going through with the plates and you've got a little bit of an attic or whatever, you can use the black ceiling box. You can come up to this with single wall or the double wall pipe. And then on the inside, you have the pipe adapter fitting that you can start your double wall through there if you choose to use single wall up to this point. Then there's a nice trim ring. We'll show you a picture of that. That goes around here for if you have a little bit of a steeper ceiling, or if it's flat or whatever it is. That finishes that install. So if we've got a composition roof, you use one of these metal roof jacks, and we have these from a flat cone to these go up to 7/12 pitch. So you're about like so. And then we have another one that is 7/8/12 to 12/12, which is a 45-degree angle. Then once you get through and you've finished all that, this will slide down, or it will slide down just slightly above here. You'll seal around this edge with silicone sealant, and then you'll want to be 2 to 3 feet above your roof. Kind of the typical rule of thumb is if your peak of your roof is here and you're coming down at this angle, if you're further away than 10 feet, I believe you have to be about 2 feet above your roof, 2 to 3 feet. And then if you're within this 10-foot zone of the peak to where you've penetrated the roof to come out, then you've got to be higher than your peak. So what that means is the wind comes up this way, it tends to curl as it goes down your roof. And so you don't want this blowing air down your chimney. And that's where that 10-foot rule comes into play there. Everything is 100% stainless steel and guaranteed. The pipe is guaranteed for life. Even if you have a chimney fire, it's guaranteed for life. If you have any questions, we're always here to help answer for elevation questions of what kind of pipe you might need for your installation. The Mini-Me, we like to see people put that in with 10 feet of pipe or more if you're at a higher elevation. The caboose wood stove, you can get away with about 7 or so feet, sometimes less if you're at a lower elevation. And we look forward to serving you. Give us a call or find us at flameinnovation.com. I'm Dusty. Thanks for watching.